Und damit willkommen zurück zu The Great Ace Attorney Resource 2 Chronicles. Ich glaube, im letzten Part war ich so noch nicht so richtig wach, muss man sagen. Deswegen eher wegen so schlurf, deswegen ging auch fast 30 Minuten, aber hey, Details. Jetzt beim zweiten Part muss man sagen, ja. Auch Mr. Gary da schon gesprochen und waren auch 15. Relativ sehr viel woanders. Mal schauen, was noch so alles auf uns zukommen wird. One of the teacups that Mr. Shem spears and his girl strength from the last night. But don't go drinking from that, Mr. Naruto. There's bitter poison inside. I'm not planning on drinking any. Don't worry. Be happy, oder wie? Any one of the groups are both empty. That's true, so one was Shakespeare's. And the other must be the group that Mr. Natsumas was drinking some from, but Mr. Suzuki-san wasn't poisoned, of course. Perhaps we should take this so we can examine them in more detail later. Okay, da haben wir dann noch das dann. Looks like you're having a good snoop around, eh? Oh. Inspector Gregson, back so soon. After Sarah said a little Japanese fella in the clink, I went and reported this on the investigation division. In 5 minutes time, this place will be cordoned off by the yard. Oh, I see. Well, we'd better be leaving then. Poor Mr. Natsume must be feeling very low, being back in us again so soon. I'm sure he should probably go and... What the fuck ist gerade mit dem Kerl los? Ich hab das so mitbekommen. Und denke mir, wer ist denn hier los? What's wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Ja. Out, brief candle. Life's but walking shadow up through a player. That struts and spreads his power opens the stage and then is feared no more. No, how sudden is the next part? It is a tale told by an idiot full of sun and fury, signifying nothing. Indeed, oh happy day. What? Walking Dead? Was zur Hölle? The fella isn't dead at all. What was that nonsense was saying so? I think yes, it was from William Shakespeare's Macbeth. And a soliloquy from Act 5, Scene 5, Shakespeare. So it was that the victims, William Shakespeare, came back to life. If the man had indeed been poisoned, it transpirated that it hadn't killed him. He was the taken by emergency carriage to a nearby hospital for treatment. Mr. Gregson evacuated us from the sense of the crime, whatever what now was. What the hell? 21. Februar, Briar Road. Was macht denn der dort? Der war davor noch nicht da. Whatever do you think will happen now? Good question. What a strange situation for Mr. Natsume, arrested for murder, but since the victim comes back to life. I think perhaps the victim was never dead in the first place. It seems very likely that Mr. Shakespeare did some consume poison as we deduct, but was it an accident, attempted suicide, or attempted murder? Until the truth can be established in Mange, the police will keep Mr. Natsume in custody. I suppose. Let's hope it doesn't come to anything more than a night in the cells. Oh, what's this? What's this man doing over there? It looks like trying to see into Suzuki's lodging. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Excuse me, could we have a word? He just ran off. I feel sure that I have seen them man somewhere before. Where was it? I do too, but I don't remember. Well, as we much investigating here, what I think, perhaps I would get to prison and speak with Mr. Natsume again. A good idea. Das haben wir ja schon. Das ist aktuell gesperrt. Jetzt können wir da oben offiziell wieder hin, oder wie? Weißt du, dass das gesperrt war, I guess. Schon, aber jetzt er da ist. Dementsprechend. Dann schauen wir doch mal, was er dann zu sagen hat. Look, Mr. Naruhodo. Mr. Natsume, have the police finished question you know? Locum student of Mr. Naruhodo Exquirere. Oh yes. What is he? Tell me. Is he a ghost? Is he here to haunt me? Let me guess. You are talking about Mr. Jones. He actually calls himself a great detective, Mr. Natsume, not a ghost. But his diabolic deductions are not of this world. They have left me. Cursed, I'm cursed, I tell you. Well, that shows of facts. Credit where credit is due, said Naruhodo. You were very heavily involved in the deduction too. Yes, moving on, we have some wonderful news. Oh! The victim that we all about thought was dead has come back to life again. Now in the absolutely worst case you're caught only by trial for attempted murder. That's great, isn't it, Mr. Natsume? It's terrible. Oh! I'm stuck in the cell suffering for someone silly wrong end of the stick. Wie You did it, didn't you? Confess you're a killer. Why the mustache? Constant question. I'm sorry to hear that. Ark, the selfish sister. Make up your mind. Are you dead or alive? If you were going to back to life, by Prophet Dean, declared wishy-washy William. Well, it seems like that Mr. Shakespeare was never actually dead in the first place. I guess that might make sense, and I'm pleased that he is alive, of course. Your lively debate last night was much fun. I'd had said to think it was your last. Oops. Mr. Natsume, does this mean that you did see the victim last night? You meet with the Shinsu, didn't you? Das muss man jetzt halt wirklich mal erklären. I'm not saying another word. I demand to have a lawyer present. I do think I am. Please, Mr. Natsume, we need to hear your side of the story. Why am I cursed like this? Mann, oh Mann, oh Mann. Fragt man sich schon, wie lange das überhaupt noch gehen wird, I guess. Can you tell us exactly what happened last night, said Mr. Natsume? There's nothing to tell. But Mr. Naruhodo Exquire, I am eternally grateful to you for helping me with that accursed case yesterday. The case that saw poor Miss Green hospitalist after she ended up with a knife in her back. Die Arme. Hat's ein wenig verdient, muss man sagen. It's hard to believe that was only yesterday. After the trial was over, I threw my very way back to my lowly lodgings, and this evening at 9:30 I must have been. I visited Mr. Shakespeare. So you did go to victim's room then? Muss man schon mal sagen, es was feared I didn't do anything wrong. I'd never been to this room before, it was the first time. Then what made you decide to go? I burned into him when I arrived to pack the house. He got changing and devoted in decisions, but he had to go out. So I bade him farewell. But it ties in with what Mr. Gerdet said. The victim went out and came back after night. We meet again after later that evening at around 9 or just after. When took him some nice tea I'd briefed as a gift. So it was your word brought the tea that had clearly been drunk at the sunset. And I suppose you were discussing the works of Shakespeare, were you? Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Romeo and Juliet, who was the stronger? It was a delightful debate, I'm sure. Such a stimulating subject, Shakespeare. And the debate became very heated to you slipped poison into Mr. Shakespeare's tea. No, never, not at all. Team Juliet won. That was me. And when I left his room, the flamboyant fellow was fighting fit. I swear it categorically. Oh boy, mein Lieber, ich sag's dir wie es ist. Es sieht halt wieder sehr schlecht, sehr schlecht aus für dich, I guess. Cursed Existence, muss man sagen. Mr. Natsume, you often say the same things about yourself. I've noticed that you have a cursed existence. I'm sure I have intention to this before, but I've been here in Great Britain for a year now, and the time I've learned that it's no place for me. It can be very trying to live in a foreign land and adapt to the ways of another culture. There are foreigners everywhere. I look and they all stare at me, they all laugh. That's the impression I get whenever I go out. It makes me scared to leave my room, which is why I became a recluse, but even in my room I find no respite from my fears. I've moved more times than I can remember, and then 1 week I moved into Prior Road. But why? I mean, why did you choose the place? It doesn't seem very comfortable. Because the rent is cheap, I have too little money, it took to me. The rent? Obviously there is a reason why it's cheap, because the room is cursed. Cursed how? The previous occupant, the man who lived before I took the room, dead, sir. Oh no. He was only a young man, but one morning he was found dead and no one could explain why. Surely no one would want to live in a room with a history like that. I didn't when the letting agent recommended the place. I have read oder wie auch immer. But I want books, and books cost money. A horrible history is a small price to pay. And I realized it would mean I could buy more books, and I sickened the leaves like lightning, brave or blinkered. But after I moved in, I soon came to realize what I'd done. I realized how horrible that room's history really was. Gosh, was it really so awful? History, mein. Danach wüsste ich jetzt eigentlich gar nicht, was man so machen sollte. Vielleicht sagen sie ja, stellt dann noch was anderes an. Aber mal schauen. How did the room's horrible history affect you, Mr. Natsume? What happened? At the first time I was just feeling the feeling of beady eyes boring into my back, watching me. And oh man, do you think that might just have been your mind playing tricks on you? No. My mind doesn't know any tricks. It was some else. It's been one long nightmare ever since I've given the case to place. A nightmare? You've been having bad dreams, you all mean? All of the souls who've died in the room. I lean over me in my sleep and try to strangle me. That really is horrible. And now I came to think of it, it happened again last night too. The very same night that Mr. Shakespeare was writing in agony from the poison in his body. I was in the verge of being suffocated silent by the miserable spirits in my room. You simply must move out of the room as soon as possible. Yes, you're right, I know it, and that's why I'm already searching for the next room with a history to call home. I was thinking perhaps you should try to avoid accommodations with any kind of old history. Otherwise, I'm scared that your souls may become history. If Susato knows whom to make the men listen. Ja, sieht ganz danach aus. Of course. Mr. Lord of the Manor also is worried about the curse on my room as well. You mean Mr. Gary Debt? Yes, he knows that if people keep dying there, he'll never be able to rent it out again. Well, it's true, I for one would go near the place. Perhaps that may explain why the landlord pays so much attention to the gas lamps and the tenant's movements. You mean because he's worried about the very thing? He does seem to have an unusually keen interest in the amount of gas in the pipes. There must be a reason why he keeps such close tabs on the code of the rooms. What did you mean he pays so much attention to the gas lamps? Oh dear no, it's nothing to do with you, Mr. Natsume. Please forgot I said anything. Oh no, you were talking about me behind my back as well. What's important is that Mr. Shakespeare isn't in fact dead at all. Once he comes around and he's able to tell us what happened, we'll be able to get it, you realize? Oh yes please, oh I do hope you're right. Excuse me, Inspector Gregson. I can't help overhearing what you just say, and on that note, I have some good news and some bad news. Oh, which did you first? Always, every time, the bad news comes first. And hope is all you have, hold on to it. That's my getting principles. Right, well, in the case, the good news is it. Sorry, but it's just a lot easier to explain everything that way. Then why did you ask me my preference? As you might have heard, the victim, Mr. Shakespeare, was just unconscious. He comes around now. Yes, we saw it happen in all its terrifying glory. He's still being treated by the doctors, but we've managed to get written statement from him already. Oh man, oh isn't that wonderful, Mr. Natsume? Oh thank goodness, it's all over then. I can leave this proposal. No, that's not on the card. What? Why ever not, Inspector? The Shakespeare has implicated someone being responsible for what happened last night implicated someone. Oh dear, you don't mean... I'm sorry to say, I do, yes, he has pointed his finger at you, Mr. Natsume. Das Rufbild ist noch ein To Be Continue. Zumindest fühlt sich das so an. I sweetie poison did he seek it to end my life. That's wicked, Kaitiff, so he's not so. No. I'm afraid will your appearance in this planet, you will be waiting to make necessary preparations. Oh. And so once again Suzuki's son found himself having to take the dog in the Old Bailey. Whether his room was haunted or whether he was just terrible unlucky, I knew I had no choice. The following day I would represent him in court and do my utmost to break the curse to blinding him. To be continued. Eigentlich wirklich perfekt, nur ganz sagen. Wir sehen uns dann im nächsten Mal. Vielen Dank fürs Einschalten und bis zum nächsten Mal. Auf Wiedersehen.